Hi, I'm Bob Tabor with www.learnvisualstudio.net, and in this lesson we'll talk about the scroll viewer. I would probably say it's more of a layout control than it is an input control, but it's not even a layout control per se. It'll just allow you to add a scrollable area into your application, whether for the whole viewable area or just for sections, just for, like we'll use it in this lesson, we're just going to add it to specific grids of or cells of a grid. So as you can see, I have a new project called ScrollViewer Example, and I'm going to replace the open grid tag by adding some row definitions and column definitions, which will give us a 2x2 grid. And in this first cell where the row is 0 and the column is 0, I'm going to paste in a scroll viewer control. You can kind of see it at work here. Now there is one little other part of setup. You can see here that I've got this financial.png. We used this in a previous example. I just needed an image, so I copied and pasted it into my assets folder. Now I'm accessing it in an image control, setting its height equal to 800, and I'm setting its stretch equal to none. And this will give us something that we can scroll around inside of our scroll viewer. And a scroll viewer is just that. It's a viewable area that can be scrolled. Here we're setting the horizontal and the vertical properties, the visibility of those scroll bars, both equal to auto, which means if you need it, show it. If you don't need it, don't show it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and run the application. You can see how easy it is to use a scroll viewer. Alright, so this roughly takes up 1/4 of the screen, and you can see now I have scroll bars vertically and horizontally, and I can move around the entire area. Great. Alright, and that is the easiest case. Now let's talk about some of the gotchas with the scroll viewer, and this took me a little while to figure out, so I want to point this out to you. If you enclose a scroll viewer with a stack panel, you essentially eliminate it. And so you can see here that I'm putting a stack panel in row 2, the second row, grid row equal 1, and the first column. And I have inside of that a scroll viewer with its horizontal and vertical scroll bar visibilities both set to auto. I have the same image control, all of that's exactly the same, but notice what happens now since we're inside of the context of a stack panel. You can see we get no scroll bars whatsoever. If I hover over the grid cell, we get something, but over the bottom grid cell, we get no way to scroll around. So that is the moral of the story. The stack panel kills a child scroll viewer. Having said that, there's one last scenario that I just want to show you here, in that you can put stack panels inside of a scroll viewer, like so. So in this case, I set the scroll viewer inside of the second row, second column, and set its horizontal and vertical scroll bar visibilities both to auto if you need to use it. Here I have 2 image controls stacked. You can see I'm using a stack panel and then adding 2 instances of that financial.png stacked on top of each other. So this time when we run the application, you can see that I do in fact get a scroll bar. Again, because the parent is the scroll bar and the child is the stack panel. In this scenario, the stack panel is the parent and the scroll bar is the child, and so we get nothing. Okay? And we'll probably never use the scroll viewer quite like I did just now. Typically we'll use it in the entire viewable area inside of the Chrome of the applications window, or the entire application itself, in the case of in the phone form factor. Okay, so but the scroll viewer, very important. We'll be using this increasingly as we work through our applications, because we'll need to be scrolling through data potentially when we have lots of it, just like we saw in the news and the sports and the money apps. Okay, all right, that's all I wanted to say about the scroll viewer. Let's continue on the next lesson. Thanks.